Alright, so boom, y'all, we back. You feel me? I want to thank everybody who's been supporting, bro. Subscribing, liking, what else? Commenting, sharing my stuff, bro. I want to thank everybody, bro. I really appreciate it, bro. I really do. But today's video, we're going to be reacting to a weird one. Decomposed body of teen girl found in singer trunk identified. But nah, for real though, bro. Let's lock in.
New details just released about the
Hold up, my headphones aren't on. I'm not gonna put these bitches all the way on. You feel me? The free form. You feel me? I had niggas hating on me when I first started. Mind you, I started a month ago. You feel me? Now my shit's, yeah. Stop playing with me. But anyway, for real, let's lock in though.
identity of the person found wrapped in plastic discovered in the trunk of a singer's car. We're breaking down the latest and where the investigation stands now, as the singer's rep maintains that he's fully cooperating with the investigation. Thanks for joining us on Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner. Stands now, as the singer's rep maintains that he's fully cooperating. Latest and where the investigation stands now, as of a singer's car. We're breaking up the person found wrapped in plastic discovered in the trunk of a singer's car. We're breaking down the latest and where the investigation stands now, as the singer's rep maintains that he's fully cooperating with the investigation. Thanks for joining us on Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner. Investigators say the remains were of a 15-year-old girl who was reported missing last year. But even with this new lead at this time, police are keeping tight-lipped if they have a suspect or a person of interest. Earlier this month, employees at a tow yard in Hollywood noticed a strong odor coming from one of the cars. The smell was so strong and foul, they had no choice but to call police. When officers arrived, that's when the startling discovery was made. A body was wrapped in plastic and dumped in the vehicle's trunk. When investigators dug into who that car belonged to, they learned it was registered to the singer David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke. Officials say that the car was towed from the Hollywood Hills after someone reported it.
Bro, I promise you, bro, not all Anthony's are like this, bro. Do not let this nigga put on for Anthony's, bro. This nigga's a peewee.
Missing. Investigators believe that the body was put in the trunk about 5 days before it was towed to the impound lot. Now, initially, we didn't know much, including who was the before it was. Investigators believe that the body was put in the trunk about 5 days before it was towed to the impound lot. Now, initially, we didn't know much, including who was the victim. Did the victim have ties to the singer? Was the singer a person of interest or a suspect? We're still waiting to learn more. But now investigators reportedly identified who the victim is. We're learning this week that the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner ID'd the victim as a 15-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas. According to LAPD, the victim was 5'2", had wavy hair, and a tattoo on her right index finger that says shh. She was found wearing a tube-top, black leggings, an earring, and a yellow metal chain bracelet. According to a report by TMZ, though, the singer David also had that exact same tattoo on his right index finger. But that doesn't necessarily equal murder suspect. It might be an odd coincidence, especially with other celebs like Lindsay Lohan, Rihanna, and Lily Allen sporting the same tat. Here's what else we know about 15-year-old Celeste. Her mom told local reporters she had been missing for more than a year. Her mom said when she saw the news of the body found in David's Tesla, it was suspicious to her because her daughter's boyfriend's name was also David. Little is known at this time about the events leading up to Celeste going missing. According to a missing poster, she was last seen on April 5th of 2024 in Lake Elsinore, California. That was when she was 13 years old. She was last seen wearing gray pants, a black sweater, hat, and Hello Kitty sandals. Attorneys for the singer say that he continues to cooperate with the investigation. While authorities haven't...
Bro. My nigga 13 years old?
For the singer say that he continues to...
Bro, this dude looks like 25 or like 26 or 27, bro. What do you mean 13? How old is this nigga?
Cooperate with the investigation. While authorities haven't publicly said that he is a suspect, that hasn't stopped...
This nigga's painting his nails, bro. This nigga's a weirdo.
Stop some people from jumping to their own conclusions. Some eagle-eyed fans pointed to David's previous songs as some kind of clues or messages, like Romantic Homicide, for example. His lyrics include, "In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you." Now, that song was released in 2022, 2 years before Celeste went missing and 3 years before her body was discovered. But again, it didn't stop some people from speculating. Then, in another report from TMZ released Wednesday, the singer professed his love to someone named Celeste in an unreleased song. According to the report, those unreleased tracks included the lyrics, "Oh Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed." The other verse included the lyrics, "Oh Celeste, afraid you'll only love me when undressed, but you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. Missing you so much makes me depressed, but I digress because..." Now, according to the report, that song was leaked in December of 2023, just months before Celeste was officially reported missing. And it's important to note, no official confirmation Celeste in the leaked song is the same Celeste found in the car. Companies like Crocs and Hollister pulled their marketing campaigns after Celeste's body was discovered too. In a joint statement, the brands wrote, "We are aware of this developing story. With respect to the current situation, we have removed campaign content featuring David while the investigation continues." According to a previous report by TMZ, it was police who told David that there was a body inside his Tesla because he had no idea what was going on. But it's still unclear how the car registered to him ended up in a tow lot if it wasn't even reported missing. Again, the singer's rep says that he has been cooperating, but we learned today he's pausing his current world tour. According to TMZ, he was supposed to hit the stage in Seattle for a concert, but sources tell the outlet that concert was canceled and the rest of his tour is on pause. Following the latest in the investigation, ABC 7 Eyewitness News reports a house close to where the Tesla was abandoned was searched. Dozens of investigators were reportedly seen taking a computer and other items from a home in Hollywood. Some homeowners told the news outlet they remembered seeing that Tesla for a while, either parked at the house where police conducted their search or at other spots on the same street. But as of this recording, he isn't named as a suspect, and no criminal charges have been filed against him. So the mystery and investigation continues. I'm joined now by retired FBI agent.
If he didn't do it, he had something to do with it.
Colin Schmidt. Colin, thank you so much for joining me. What's your reaction to this latest development as the medical examiner says that the body found in the trunk was a 15-year-old girl?
Well, it looks like it's a terrible, terrible tragedy for that 15-year-old girl's family is obviously the victim. And the fact that she was found in a trunk, it indicates that there's some level of foul play with this. And it's only going to get more interesting and probably more tragic as the story comes out.
And I think probably, the biggest part of this story is that the car that the victim was found in was registered to a very popular singer. And we know that the singer is cooperating with the investigation, and officials haven't named him as a suspect or a person of interest. But in your opinion, with the information that we know now, do you think that he has anything to do with it?
100%.
Well, the problem is for whoever did this, a Tesla is nothing more than a rolling supercomputer. Mm-hmm. So it's going to have all kinds of information in there when they get and when the engineers get in and get all the data.
Oh, damn! I didn't think of that, bro. Teslas do be having hella cameras and shit, bro. They can just, bro. How far can you go back and look on the cameras and shit on a Tesla? Because if they said the body was in there for 5 days, bro, I'm pretty sure you can go back and look at that shit, bro. He's cooked. They're talking about he's not a suspect. What the fuck do you mean he's not a suspect? Nigga, it's his car. If he didn't do it, he has something to do
So
with it.
I'm confident they're going to know exactly what happened in a very short period of time. And then the fact that there's such a close connection between the decedent and this rapper, it's only going to get more interesting, like I said, as far as what really
talking about the ages of these niggas, bro. He's a pedophile, bro. Bro, she was 15, went missing when she was 13, bro. This nigga looks at least 25, bro. He's no young, bro. Fuck that, bro. I'm looking this shit up. No. Wait, no. How do you spell this nigga's name? Come on, bro. How do you spell this nigga's name? What is his name? Oh, fuck that. Looking this bitch ass nigga up. D4B. Oh, okay. Bro, come on, bro. 20? Bro, and this nigga was going out with a 13-year-old. Why didn't nobody say anything about this, bro?
Really happened.
They not talking about his age or nothing, bro. This nigga's 20. Why is no one questioning this?
And it's interesting too, kind of the circumstances as we're learning more, because the victim's mom even told police that she got suspicious it was her daughter because her daughter also had a boyfriend named David. Do you think that that's just a terrible coincidence? And also we're learning that they both had this tattoo on their index finger with the letters sh written on it, kind of similar to a lot of other celebrities, especially kind of in the millennial era, who also had that same tattoo. But do you think this is all just a terrible coincidence?
No.
Well, unfortunately, in violent crime, there's no such thing as a coincidence. It's a coincidence is actual circumstantial evidence. So all these data points are starting to point towards this rapper. We don't know what his role was, and if indeed he did have anything to do with it, but it does appear that there's some sort of culpability that this rapper is going to have with this girl's death.
And where does the investigation or investigators really go from here? You know, they know the identity of the victim. The cause of death right now is listed as deferred, but what happens next?
Well, the most important piece of evidence is the body. The body tells the entire story. So, as I understand it from social media, that the medical examiner has not finished their investigation, and then the next step of that would be obviously the toxicology reports, which take a couple of days to a couple of weeks to get back, and then that's going to point the investigators in the direction of where to take their next steps, as well as the search of the interior of the compartment that she was found in and the passenger compartment, because if there was any blood or any signs of foul play or violence, then that obviously points into a direction that they need to go.
And what's going to be more important to the investigation, finding out what happened inside that car, if anything happened inside that car, or the forensic evidence in the car, or is it going to be finding where the scene of the crime actually took place and kind of working backwards really from there?
Well, working backwards is from the body, and the body will start is basically points all the directional arrows, so to speak, on where to go, and then from there, obviously, they go and do a forensic analysis of that car, and then, like I said, the most important piece of that car is that onboard computer, which has so much information that even Tesla owners don't know what the extent of the information that car has on it, and I'm fairly confident that the owner of the car wasn't sophisticated enough to know how to wipe or to get rid of that information that's on that car.
Does it change anything? You know, we know the Tesla car is like kind of like a smart car. And even though I'm not as technologically savvy as you are, Colin, I'm interested in knowing, does it change anything in terms of the investigation because the car was towed over into that impound lot? Does that change anything in terms of the data that might be on that car or anything like that?
No, I mean, when the car is on, it's gathering thousands and thousands and thousands of data points. Now, it was off, basically, we can presume that it was on up until the time it was towed. So they know where it was when it was towed to that. So the tow part isn't really mean anything other than chain of custody. So from the time that it was sitting there or towed back 24, 48, or even two.
Can't they just check the location of like the car and shit? And then like pinpoint that to bro's location, like from his phone or something.
2 weeks, they're going to be able to know exactly where that car was, whether it was an accident. There's even cameras, interior and exterior, that are taking footage. So,
bro, is cameras in the car too? Ooh, boy, this nigga is done.
They're going to end up likely knowing who was in the car prior to it being disposed of.
And say, you know, because we know that this is also, again, a very big story because it kind of surrounds the singer David because the car was registered to him. But say investigators learned, you know, he has been cooperating with the investigation. Again, he hasn't been named as a suspect or anything like that. But say investigators learned that he was out on tour, or he was at an event or something. He has an alibi for the time frame that they believe the murder took place. What happens next in terms of how they find possibly who might else be involved in this?
Well, they're also going to find her phone.
Mm.
Possibly, they didn't say whether the phone was on her or not. And then the phone obviously is, especially for a 15-year-old, her whole life is in that phone. So they're going to be able to establish her circle of friends and start interviewing all of those people, as well as interviewing all the people around this rapper to see this music artist, was to see if they know anything and they know what exactly happened. I mean, the bottom line is you don't crawl into a
Bro, this shit is off topic, but my nigga, is that an iPod? My nigga, ain't no way. Bro, they still make those?
car and close the hood. You know, somebody had to have put her in that car, whether she was alive or dead when it happened. That will be something that the investigators will definitely find out. And I believe it happened in LAPD territory, and they're
Correct.
considered the best homicide investigators in the world. So I have absolute certainty that they're going to determine who did this and or what happened.
And even that whole other aspect, because again, we're just learning this information pretty much today, is that she was reported missing about a year ago. How important is that time frame of when she was missing and how long of a period that was? How will that kind of play into her death investigation?
Well, I think that that's important that the family lost track of her a year ago, but it still comes right back to that car and what was going on in the car prior to the tow truck picking it up, and then being able to establish the timeline. So in any investigation or violent crime investigation, the timeline is the most important. So they're going to have a timeline starting from when the car was found or when it was reported, and they'll go back 24, 48, or even 2 weeks, and they'll be able to identify every place that car was and likely where she was. And that'll be with that, they'll be able to fill in the blanks and then identify who was involved in her death. Now, she may have not been killed. She may have died of a drug overdose and somebody put her in the car.
Mm.
Either way, somebody's responsible for her being in that vehicle.
Bro,
Yeah, and I'm sure investigators and even her family are trying to find out what happened to her, if they can gather any type of details to figure out what all had happened. Colin, I want to thank you so much for your time and your insight into this. How different gather all this technology and information as opposed to maybe like 20 years ago where we didn't have all this technology readily available like we
who
do
gives a
now.
fuck about 20 years ago, bro? We trying to talk about this case.
And at some point, AI will probably be taking a role in these kind of Tesla or to the iPhone or wherever. It was a matter of just going and interviewing people and getting their story. Now it's a whole different story with all these data points that investigators have to sift through.
And so, with that being said, do you see that there might be a possibly end in sight in terms of the investigation anytime soon, or do you think that this might be a very long investigation?
Well, based upon it was in a Tesla, I would speculate that it's not going to be long. If it was in like a Mustang from the 60s that has no onboard computing ability, it would be kind of a different story. But like I said, that Tesla has so much data in it and there's so many tools out there that will aid the investigators on getting through that data. I expect that they likely will quickly know exactly what happened to that girl.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I hope that they find out soon what happened to her because it's just devastating overall, just how horrible this case truly is. Again, Colin Schmidt, thank you so much for your time and insight into this case. I really appreciate it.
All right, bro. I got a couple like options, bro. Either because they said he could have been on tour at the time. Either he didn't do it, but he knows who did. That could be one, right? He could have drugged her. What else? I mean, bro, first of all, fuck that, bro. Why is nobody acknowledging the fact that this nigga's 20 dating a 13-year-old? Why is nobody acknowledging that shit? Like they're not even talking about that, bro. Anyway, that being the fact, bro, he could have probably got her pregnant, got scared, didn't want the for me, didn't want people to know he was a weirdo, so he probably offed her. That could be an option. Or shit, I don't know, he probably just got tired of laying low and paid somebody. Shit, bro, who knows, bro? This nigga's a weirdo, bro. We don't fuck with that shit. Bye.